Are you having a hard time finding balance in your life as a professional? And perhaps it's really gotten to the point where it's causing some form of havoc in your life and maybe even stolen your joy and your peace and your sense of fulfillment. Well, if that's the case, then you're not alone. So many different studies have shown that one of the major problems and challenges that professionals face is the concept of balance. This is Franklin here, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead right now and click the subscribe button. But back to the topic. Again, it's definitely not a challenge that you face alone. So many different people, especially professionals, they struggle with this concept of balance. But starting off with, what exactly is balance? I think this is where most people have the challenge. That's where the beginning of the challenge is. A number of times when you hear the word balance, different people have different meanings that they associate with balance. A number of people believe that balance is equilibrium. If you're a science student or an economic student, you know exactly what I mean. They believe it means everything being equal. Upward forces equal downward forces. In other words, that we have to apply same time and effort towards the different areas of our life. According to them, that is exactly what balance is. But honestly, personally, I really don't believe that that is what balance refers to. What I believe strongly about balance is that balance means assigning the appropriate amount of time towards the different areas of our lives based on our priorities and our needs. Again, what is balance for me may be different than what is considered balance for you, especially in terms of what is appropriate, because again, at different stages in our lives, we would have different priorities, right? And different priorities would mean different level or amount of time and effort dedicated towards the different areas of our lives. This is exactly what I believe balance is. And if we look at balance this way, it becomes much more feasible for us to approach and make progress towards this thing called balance. And honestly, I know that this concept of balance can be really very difficult and challenging, because come to think about it, we have different areas in our lives that we are having to focus on. It's like juggling not just a ball, but multiple balls. And imagine those different balls, they represent the different areas in our lives. We have the health and fitness, we have the business, we have the career, we have the relationship, we have the spiritual and finances. Like, imagine juggling different balls in the air. It can be difficult, right? And that's exactly why this concept of balance can be challenging as well. And I just believe strongly that it's going to be even more challenging if we ignore this thing called balance. If in the first place we don't even believe that it is attainable, then to us it's going to be even much more challenges. And there are obviously so many consequences of not pursuing or leading a balanced life. You know, we have this lack of fulfillment when you know that there are specific areas in your life where you can do better. You can do better. You can make more progress. But if you've just zoned out that balance is not possible, then it's just not going to happen. And because one area of your life is suffering, it's definitely going to trickle and affect the other areas of your life. Another negative consequence of balance would be this pain and regret. That's where you hear people say things like, I wish I knew, or had I known. And a very common situation where this one happens is with someone who, say, just didn't pay close attention to their health, in their health and fitness, right? And this person maybe ends up having some form of health issues or some issues with their body in general, and then they now are having to spend a whole lot of money to medicate the area of to medicate their health. And so not only has this affected them in the area of their health and fitness, but now it's negatively affecting their business and their finances rather. And say then at the same time, it would go ahead to negatively affect perhaps their relationship or their social life, because they would not be able to interact as they would if they were healthy and happy and in a very good state to engage with other people. So definitely, when we don't pursue a well-rounded and a balanced life, it can come back to affect us in a negative way for sure. With that being said, There are definitely a couple of things that we can do to just help us lead a more well-rounded and a balanced life. And I'll be sharing 3 of them here next. One of the major things that I believe can help us a lot with leading a more well-rounded and balanced life is to raise our level of awareness. And what I mean here is to really just believe and understand that there is something called balance. There's a concept called balance, and you know what? It doesn't just exist, but it's also possible. Even though we may not be exactly perfect at it, but we know that we can always make progress towards leading a well-rounded and a balanced life. Once we believe it's possible, then indeed we can always make progress towards it. But the moment we think that it's not possible, or we think that it's a myth, then we're likely not going to make any strides at all. It's just going to be like saying there's no target. Once there is no target, then definitely there's nothing for us to aim at, and there's nothing for us to move towards. So that's, I believe, one very big thing that would help us, just understanding and believing that there's something called balance, and it exists, and we can always make progress towards it. The second thing is to clarify your vision for your life vision in short. And what I mean by this is, first of all, just think about how many times in your life where you had to come up with a career plan, or maybe a vacation plan. Okay, that one is a very good one. Or even if it's a business plan. And these are just specific areas of our lives. We come up with all of these different kind of plans, but we hardly come up with a life plan. And that's a very good way for us to clarify our life vision. Having a life plan. So in other words, like a plan for our life in general. This is where we take a holistic approach to planning our entire life and seeing how one area would affect the other area. Because the truth of the matter is, we have, again, different areas of life to focus on. And if we're going to put in more effort and time towards one area, it means that we'll have to step down the time and efforts that we dedicate towards the other area. But if we plan our life in its entirety, and we see how well we are allocating time and effort to the different resources, it becomes easy for us to balance and to really just navigate this concept of living a well-rounded life. Because again, in truth, we have different areas in life: the career, the health and fitness, and the relationship, and all of those. And all of those are not completely isolated, in the sense that success in one area can become visible in the other area, and the failure in one area, unfortunately, can become visible in the other area as well. And that's why we always want to have this concept of a life plan, where we can really see all the different areas of our life and how they relate and interact with one another. So the third one is to regularly get feedback and check in on how you're doing in the different areas of your life. There's a very important statement I would like for you to remember, and it says, whatever we track improves, whatever we don't track declines. This is really very key and important, and in fact, it's actually one of the reasons why most people, they don't hit their New Year's resolution, because they set the goal that they want at the beginning of the year, and guess the next time they check the goal next. You got it right, the end of the year. And at that time, it's already very difficult to make any form of course correction and to make any further enhancement. It's already past. And regularly checking in on the progress we're making towards the different areas of our life is definitely a great way for us to maintain the momentum, to keep the cadence, and to see how well we are doing with respect to the progress we're making in the different areas of our life, trying to balance that. And whenever we see, for example, that we are not slacking off, then we can start thinking about what we can do differently to make an improvement. This is actually a practice that I apply in my life coaching program, and I get my clients to check in regularly on the progress that they are making across the different areas of their life, just so they can live a more well-rounded and a balanced life. So I made reference to the concept of a life plan. If you'd like to learn more about that, then I encourage you to pick up the book titled Living Forward. It's written by Dr. Daniel Huckabee and Michael Hines. The book literally transformed and changed my life, and it did it for me. I'm sure that it can also benefit you as well. You can check the description of this video for the link to the book. So these are some of the ways that I believe we can improve on these concepts of balance so that we can live indeed a more well-rounded life as well. And when we continue to pursue to live a well-rounded and a balanced life, we're definitely going to see so many benefits. It's going to help us to just focus on what is the priorities of our lives. It helps us to focus on pursuing our priorities, our purpose, and also on our legacy as well. And it would also eliminate any form of unnecessary stress in our life so that we can focus on what truly matters. So I hope that this helps you in your pursuit of achieving and living a more well-rounded and a balanced life. And obviously, I'd also love to hear from you as well. What are some of the things that you do to help you on this journey to living a well-rounded and a balanced life? I'd love to hear that from you as well. And talking about balance, I'm actually hosting a free workshop titled Step Up. And the main purpose of Step Up is to empower and to equip professionals with actionable strategies that would allow them not only to achieve their goals, personal or professional, but also help them with living a more well-rounded and a balanced life. And that's exactly what the theme of the event is, pursuing a well-rounded and a balanced life. And so I'm inviting you to the event. There is going to be a link on the screen that you can go to register for the event. I'm also going to be posting the link in the description of this video. So come, let's take our life to the next level. I'm excited about the event. It's happening on August 26th, 2:30 to 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Hope to see you there. With that said, I hope you get to apply some of these practices and take your life to the next level, and let's live a more well-rounded and a balanced life. And as usual, don't forget that you're more than enough, you're worthy, you're deserving, you are loved. And I'll make a toast to living a well-rounded and a balanced life. Take care, have a nice one, God bless, and peace.